Hi, welcome to the data overview of Youth Elementary School's 3rd through 5th grade milestone data. This is being presented April 17th, 2017. The purpose of the data overview is to review demographic changes in the student body over the past 5 years, review the language arts and mathematics results for the Georgia Milestone Assessment, identify strengths and weaknesses of our current instructional practices, and identify our next steps moving forward. Some questions to consider while reviewing our demographic information. What does our student body look like? How has our enrollment changed? How has our student body changed? How does it compare with our district as a whole? And how has our county's enrollment and demographics changed over time? Looking at a quick snapshot of our school, our current school enrollment includes 756 children. The majority of our students are Caucasian. 38.4% of our students receive free or reduced lunch, and our student-to-teacher ratio is 16:4. Enrollment data. As you can see, the number of students enrolled at Youth Elementary School was increasing over a number of years and then again leveled off and dropped in 2016. This is probably because of redistricting lines that were drawn in our county. Looking at our enrollment by subgroups and breaking it apart by our race and ethnicity subgroups, you can see that we have very low diversity among our students at Youth Elementary School, with the majority of our students being Caucasian. Other subgroups include African American, Asian, Hispanic, American Indian, Pacific Islander, and multiracial. The number of students receiving free and reduced lunch at our school increased over several years and then again has leveled off in the past 3. The increase is probably due to the effects of the recession. And as you can see in the next slide, although the number of students who are receiving free and reduced lunch has increased over time, our school is still below our county average for that. Some questions to consider while reviewing our milestones data. What were the results of our latest milestone assessment? How does our school rank among the other schools in the district? Are there achievement gaps among our students? And what are our strengths and our weaknesses? What is the Georgia Milestones exam? It's a comprehensive summative assessment program for 3rd grade through high school. 3rd through 8th grades take assessments in English, language arts, and mathematics. 5th and 8th grades also take assessments in science and social studies. High school students take an end-of-course assessment for each subject. What do the milestones include? The question types include constructed response items in English, language arts, and mathematics in all grades and courses, a writing component at every grade level and course within the English language arts assessment, norm reference items in all content areas and courses to complement the criterion reference information and to provide a national comparison. And finally, a transition to online administration over time, with online administration considered the primary mode of administration and paper and pencil as the backup until the transition is complete. Looking at the distribution of question types in the English language arts, a section of the milestones exam, you can see that 58% of the questions cover reading and vocabulary, while 42% of the questions cover writing and language arts. This holds true in both 3rd, 4th, and 5th grades. Looking at the distribution of questions in math over the grade levels, in 3rd grade, 25% of the test covers operations and algebraic thinking. 35% of the test covers numbers and operations in base 10. 30% of the test covers measurement, and 10% of the test covers geometry. In 4th and 5th grades, these numbers vary slightly because they introduce a new section in the assessment which covers numbers and operations in fractions. The scoring on the milestones exam includes 4 levels of learners. The beginning learners do not yet demonstrate proficiency in the knowledge and skills necessary at this grade level and content area of learning, as specified by Georgia Content Standards. The students still need substantial additional academic support to be prepared for the next grade level and to be on track for college and career readiness. The developing learner demonstrates partial proficiency in these knowledge and skills and still need additional academic support to ensure success in the next grade level and to be on track for college and career. Proficient learners demonstrate proficiency in the knowledge and skills at the grade level and are prepared for the next grade level and on track for college and career readiness, while distinguished learners demonstrate advanced proficiency in the knowledge and skills, and these students are well prepared for the next grade level and are prepared for college and career readiness. There are, looking at the scaled score ranges for by achievement level for English language arts. Again, there are those 4 levels, and you can see the scale score for each of those: beginning learners, developing learner, proficient learner, and distinguished learner. And there are a little bit of change from grade level to grade level for those scale scores, but for the most part they stay pretty consistent. The same can be said for the mathematics scale score. While they do change somewhat from grade level to grade level, for the whole they remain pretty consistent. Looking at the results for 3rd through 5th grade English language arts milestones, you can see that the majority of the students in all grade levels, in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grades, received either a proficient or distinguished rating. Looking at each of these ratings in order, the majority of the students were rated as proficient learners. The second highest category was developing learners, followed by distinguished learners, and the smallest category of students fell in the heading of beginning learners. Looking at 3rd through 5th grade math milestone results, again the same basic facts hold true. The majority of students in every grade level, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, fell within the proficient and developing learner categories. The highest group of students fell in the proficient category, then developing learner. 3rd, it would be distinguished, and the smallest group of students fell within that beginning learner range. Looking at the 3rd grade milestone results across the district of Walton County, you can see that Youth Elementary School was ranked first and had the highest number of developing and higher students and the highest number of students who were ranked proficient or higher in the entire county, and that holds true in both language arts and mathematics. Again, in looking at the 4th grade milestone results, the same thing holds true. Again, Youth Elementary School had the highest percentage of developing and higher and proficient and higher categories and than all the other elementary schools in the county, with the majority of the students falling in either the proficient or the developing learners. And the same again holds true for the 5th grade milestone results. Looking at how the 2015 and 2016 milestone data report looks, you can see that the beginning learners and developing learning categories decreased over time, while the proficient and distinguished learner categories increased over time. Looking at the 2016 milestone data by subgroups, you can see that in English language arts, the African American students had the highest percentage of students reaching proficiency, and that there was a gap between African American and white students and their Hispanic counterparts in English language arts. There are more substantial gaps in achievement looking at two groups of students with disabilities and students without disabilities. In both English language arts and math, there were substantial gaps between these two groups of learners. And again, there's another substantial gap between when looking at students who are economically disadvantaged and students who are not economically disadvantaged in both English language arts and math. The data overview whole school demographic trends. While we did experience an upward trend in our enrollment numbers, our enrollment has dropped again due to redistricting in Walton County. Our race ethnicity subgroups have remained fairly stable in the past 5 years. Our school is still not a diverse group of students, with 82% of the student body being Caucasian. The continued increase of the Hispanic population in our school is likely due to the school being the host school for the county's ESOL program. There is a slight upward trend in the percentage of students who received free and reduced lunch, although it appears to be leveling off. This might be due in part to our community still recovering from the Great Recession. And free and reduced numbers still remain lower than our county's average. Looking at our strengths that we can find from the milestone data, the majority of our students score in the proficient or distinguished learner categories in both language arts and math. Youth Elementary School had the highest percentage of students who earned a proficient or higher than all other elementary schools in Walton County in both reading and math in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grades. The percentage of students earning a beginning learner is dropping in both English language arts and mathematics. The percentage of students earning a proficient or distinguished learner has increased in both reading and math. The achievement gap between white, African American, and Hispanic students is within 7 percentage points in math. Looking at our weaknesses for the milestone data, there is an achievement gap of 16.8% between our African American and Hispanic students and a 5.6% gap between our white and Hispanic students in English language arts. There is another achievement gap of 41.3% between our students with disabilities and our students without disabilities in English language arts. And there is a 42.8% gap between these two groups of students in math. There's another achievement gap of 21.9% in English language arts between economically disadvantaged and not economically disadvantaged students. And there's a 26.2% gap between these two groups of students in math. Our next steps at Youth Elementary School. Please review your grade levels data as well as the school data with your table. Then discuss and record your group's responses to the questions on the next slide. Post your responses around the room on chart paper. Participate in our gallery walk to see each group's thoughts. You may leave your thoughts and questions for them by writing them on a sticky note and then adhering it to their poster. As a grade level, decide and record your action plan. What will you target this year and how will you know it is working? Decide how your team will measure and monitor your results. Then create a list of resources that I can provide your team to be successful. Books, staff development, resources, let me know. Finally, the discussion questions based on our milestone data for you to complete with your small group and record on your chart paper are as follows. For your grade level, does math or reading have more students who are identified as a beginning or developing learner? Are our different demographic trends having an impact on our data? If so, are they reflected in our achievement gaps? How can we use classroom data and common assessments to help us close the achievement gaps that we see? How can we target and support the students who are identified as developing to move them to proficient learners? And what are some classroom strategies that we can incorporate to better support our ELL, economically disadvantaged, and students with disabilities? How can we incorporate them into our instruction?